The year was 2147, and humanity had entered a golden age of technological advancement. Cities floated in the skies, interplanetary travel was routine, and diseases were nearly eradicated. Earth inhabitants enjoyed a peace and prosperity unknown to previous generations. The unity of nations had brought about an era of exploration and innovation, where the boundaries of science were pushed further each day. But on a clear summer evening, the tranquility was shattered when an armada of alien ships appeared in Earth's orbit. Panic spread like wildfire as the skies darkened with the arrival of the Zarn, a species unknown to humankind. Their ships were vast, sleek, and silver, moving with a grace that belied their deadly purpose. The initial contact was not one of diplomacy, but of death. Without warning, the Zarn unleashed their weapons, disintegrating anything in their path. Their energy pulses melted steel and vaporized flesh, leaving nothing but smoldering ruins. Major cities like New York, Tokyo, and Paris fell into chaos. The once serene skies were now a theater war, filled with the shrieks of Zarn fighter crafts and the desperate screams of fleeing civilians. Earth's defenses crumbled within hours, unable to withstand the sheer power and advanced technology of the invaders. The Zarn communicated through cryptic broadcasts, their language a series of clicks and hums that Earth's top linguists struggled to decipher. Despite the lack of understanding, their message was clear. They came to conquer, not to negotiate. Earth's governments, blindsided by the sudden attack, scrambled to mount a defense, but their efforts were futile against the superior Zarn weaponry. In the midst of the chaos, ordinary citizens were forced to become soldiers. Families were torn apart as people tried to escape the cities, seeking refuge in the countryside. But even there, the Zarn's reach was extensive. The serene landscapes of Earth's rural areas became hunting grounds for the relentless invaders. Amid the devastation, the Zarn established command centers in the heart of the cities they had destroyed. They moved with an air of arrogance, considering the human resistance insignificant. The Zarn, a proud and ancient race, saw Earth's inhabitants as weak, their technology inferior. They had faced countless civilizations before and had always emerged victorious. What the Zarn did not understand was the depth of human resilience and the lengths to which humans would go when pushed to the brink. The initial days of the invasion were filled with terror and destruction, but beneath the surface, a simmering rage began to brew. The humans who survived the first onslaught were not just victims. They were witnesses to the atrocities committed against their loved ones, their homes, and their planet. In a hidden bunker beneath the ruins of Washington, D.C., a group of scientists, military leaders, and political figures gathered. Among them was Dr. Elena Morales, a renowned physicist whose family had been killed in the first wave of attacks. Fueled by a deep-seated desire for retribution, she spoke with a resolve that resonated with everyone present. "We may have been caught off guard, but we are not defeated. We will fight back, and we will make them pay," Elena declared. Her words ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of those who heard her. The seeds of resistance were planted that day. The Zarn had underestimated their enemy, failing to recognize that humans, when driven by desperation and fury, were capable of unimaginable feats. As the first chapter of this grim saga closed, the world stood on the precipice of a brutal and prolonged conflict. The Zarn, confident in their superiority, could not foresee the storm of revenge that was beginning to gather. Earth, though ravaged and bloodied, was not defeated. In the face of annihilation, humanity would rise from the ashes, fueled by an unyielding will to survive and a burning desire for vengeance. The initial shock of the invasion left humanity reeling, but the spirit of resistance began to take shape amidst the ruins. Scattered across the globe, pockets of survivors organized themselves, driven by a collective need to fight back. These groups, small at first, grew as more people joined the cause, united under the banner of reclaiming their home and seeking vengeance for the lives lost. In the subterranean bunkers and hidden enclaves, a new force emerged, the Earth Resistance Force, ERF. John Carter, a decorated war hero known for his tactical brilliance, took command of this ragtag army. His experience in previous conflicts made him an invaluable leader, capable of inspiring those around him with his courage and determination. Dr. Elena Morales, whose expertise in physics was unmatched, became the scientific cornerstone of the resistance. Together with a team of the brightest minds on Earth, she began working on understanding and replicating Zarn technology. The breakthrough came when a group of scavengers discovered an ancient, abandoned Zarn scout ship buried deep within the Himalayas. This vessel, a relic from an earlier Zarn expedition, became the key to turning the tide. Inside the ship, Elena and her team found a treasure trove of information: blueprints, weapon designs, and communication systems. Reverse engineering these technologies was no small feat, but the scientists worked tirelessly, driven by their desire for retribution. Slowly, they began to unlock the secrets of the Zarn technology, creating hybrid weapons and defenses that could be used against the invaders. One of the first successful counterattacks was launched in the reclaimed city of Denver. Using a combination of guerrilla tactics and stolen Zarn technology, the ERF managed to ambush a Zarn patrol unit. The battle, though small in scale, was a significant victory. It demonstrated that the Zarn were not invincible and that their advanced technology could be turned against them. News of the victory spread quickly, boosting morale and swelling the ranks of the resistance. As the months passed, the resistance grew bolder. Coordinated attacks on Zarn outposts became more frequent, and the ERF established a network of secret bases across the globe. Each victory, no matter how minor, was a step closer to reclaiming Earth. The Zarn, who had once viewed humanity as insignificant, began to feel the sting of these relentless assaults. One of the most significant battles took place in the ruins of Berlin. The Zarn had transformed the city into a strategic command center, heavily fortified and seemingly impregnable. John Carter devised a plan that involved a multi-pronged assault, combining direct attacks with covert sabotage. Elena's team had developed a prototype EMP device capable of disabling Zarn technology temporarily. This device was crucial to their strategy. On the night of the assault, a group of elite soldiers infiltrated the city, planting the EMP device at a critical juncture. As the device detonated, the Zarn defenses faltered and the ERF launched a full-scale attack. The battle was fierce and brutal, but the resistance emerged victorious. The fall of Berlin was a turning point in the war, proving that even the strongest Zarn strongholds could be breached. The resistance success was not without cost. Grew stronger and
Many
more
brave
men and women John Carter and Elena Morales became symbols sacrifices and testament to the human spirit's resilience, combined with the unyielding spirit of their honor, fighters, and their stories became legends, a formidable force inspiring future generations to continue the fight. As the second chapter of Resistance's capabilities grew, the stage their understanding of the Zarn greater conflict. Interrogations of captured Zarn superiority revealed now faced a foe that was not only about their hierarchy increasingly equipped with their own advanced technology. It was discovered the war for Earth operated under a rigid command structure. Humanity, with united by a common cause and driven by flames of revenge, disrupting this was ready to continue the fight, could cripple their operations. Invasion. Dr. Morales and his team also made a startling discovery. Had transformed their studies of Zarn collection survivors into aliens were not fighting conquerors, but their tactics evolved, their home world was dying, and their morale resources depleted. Each small victory. This revelation added a complex layer to the conflict. The Zarn's desperation mirrored humanity's own, and their motherships loomed ominously, creating a poignant reflection on the nature of war leadership and survival. That a decisive blow despite understanding their balance of power, the resistance remained steadfast. It was during a covert intelligence operation. The Zarn had brought devastation to Angeles that they uncovered the path to peace lay to their next move. The realization that the invaders were fighting for their own survival to intense interrogation to quell the burning desire for vengeance central command ship orbiting high above the planet. This ship, the linchpin of the Zarn fleet, coordinated all their operations on Earth. John Carter and Dr. Elena Morales devised a daring plan: infiltrate the Zarn mothership, sabotage its main reactor, and retrieve crucial intelligence about the Zarn command structure. This mission, if successful, could cripple the invaders' operations and give humanity the upper hand. The infiltration team was carefully selected from the best of the ERF's elite soldiers, engineers, and scientists. Among them were Carter and Morales, who insisted on leading the mission personally. Their journey began with a stealth approach, using cloaking technology adapted from the abandoned Zarn scout ship. This technology rendered their small shuttle invisible to Zarn sensors, allowing them to slip past the formidable defenses and board the mothership undetected. Inside the mothership, the team moved swiftly and silently through the labyrinthine corridors, guided by schematics stolen during previous operations. The interior of the ship was a marvel of alien engineering. Sleek metallic surfaces pulsated with an eerie bioluminescent glow. The atmosphere was charged with the hum of advanced machinery and the occasional patrol of Zarn guards. As they made their way to the reactor core, the team encountered evidence of the Zarn's desperation. Chambers filled with advanced but malfunctioning life support systems and nutrient synthesis machines indicated that the aliens were struggling to sustain themselves. This discovery added a layer of urgency to their mission. If the Zarn were to regain control, the conflict could drag on indefinitely, with catastrophic consequences for both sides. Reaching the reactor core, the team set about their task with precision. Elena and her engineers planted explosive charges at key points around the reactor, ensuring a controlled but devastating detonation. Meanwhile, Carter and the soldiers secured the perimeter, ready to repel any Zarn forces that might discover their presence. As the charges were set, Elena accessed the ship's central computer. Her eyes widened as she unearthed a trove of critical data, blueprints, communication logs, and most importantly, the command protocols of the Zarn hierarchy. She quickly downloaded the data onto a portable drive, knowing it could provide invaluable insights for the ERF. Their mission nearly complete, the team prepared for extraction. However, their presence had not gone entirely unnoticed. An alarm blared, and the corridors were soon filled with the clattering footsteps of Zarn soldiers. A fierce firefight erupted, with the resistance fighters using their adapted alien weaponry to hold off the advancing troops. The cacophony of energy blasts and the shouts of combatants filled the confined space, creating a chaotic symphony of battle. Despite being outnumbered, the ERF team fought with unparalleled determination, driven by the stakes of their mission. Carter led the defense with strategic precision, directing his team to maximize their cover and exploit the narrow corridors to their advantage. Elena, with the portable drive secured, joined the fray, her modified energy rifle discharging pulses of searing light. The Zarn, unaccustomed to such fierce resistance on their own ship, faltered under the relentless assault. The team managed to secure a temporary reprieve, allowing them to activate their extraction plan. A signal was sent to the cloaked shuttle waiting nearby, which swiftly maneuvered into position to retrieve them. As they made their escape, Elena triggered the explosive charges. A series of controlled detonations reverberated through the ship, culminating in a massive explosion that rocked the entire structure. The reactor core's destruction caused a cascading series of failures throughout the mothership. Systems flickered and died, lights went out, and the ship began to list in its orbit. The once impenetrable fortress was now a crippled hulk, its operational capabilities severely compromised. The ERF team, now aboard their shuttle, watched as the mothership drifted helplessly in space, the glow of internal fires visible through the rents in its hull. Returning to Earth, the team was hailed as heroes. The data Elena had recovered was quickly analyzed, revealing not only the Zarn command protocols, but also the locations of their remaining strongholds. This intelligence proved to be a turning point in the war. With their command structure disrupted and their mothership crippled, the Zarn were thrown into disarray. The ERF, emboldened by this success, launched a series of coordinated offensives. Using the newly acquired data, they targeted key Zarn installations with precision strikes. The resistance forces, now equipped with even more advanced hybrid technology, pushed the Zarn back city by city, reclaiming lost territories and liberating trapped survivors. One of the most significant victories came in the battle for London. The Zarn had fortified the city, using it as a central hub for their operations. With a new intelligence, the ERF devised a plan to breach their defenses. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. However, the resilience and tactical superiority of the human forces eventually overwhelmed the Zarn defenders. The fall of London marked a symbolic and strategic victory, proving that the tide of the war had truly turned. Amidst these victories, the ERF discovered another layer of the Zarn's desperation. Their home world, it seemed, was not just dying but on the verge of complete collapse. The Zarn had hoped to establish a new home on Earth, a plan that was now in ruins. This revelation added a complex dimension to the conflict. While some argue for a more compassionate approach, the majority of the resistance, driven by the memory of their fallen loved ones and the destruction wrought by the invaders, remained resolute in their pursuit of total victory. As the war dragged on, the ERF continued to build on their momentum. They developed new strategies, improved their technology, and solidified their alliances. The Zarn, now on the defensive, struggled to regroup and mount an effective counteroffensive. The once seemingly invincible invaders were now on the brink of defeat, their forces decimated and their morale shattered. The third chapter of this epic saga closed with humanity standing at the brink of ultimate victory. The Resistance had transformed into a powerful military force, capable of taking the fight to the Zarn on any front. The crippling of the Zarn mothership had been the catalyst for a series of events that would lead to the eventual liberation of Earth. The war was not over, but the end was in sight. Humanity, united by a common cause and fueled by an unyielding spirit of revenge, was ready to deliver the final blow. The culmination of years of brutal conflict and relentless struggle arrived with the final battle for Earth. The Resistance, now a well-oiled military machine, prepared for a decisive confrontation with the remaining Zarn forces. The location for this showdown was the devastated ruins of Washington, D.C., a symbolic heart of human resilience and defiance. The Zarn had turned the city into their last major stronghold, heavily fortified and fiercely defended. In the months leading up to this confrontation, the Yarf meticulously planned their attack. Dr. Elena Morales and her team had developed a groundbreaking weapon, the quantum destabilizer. This device had the potential to disrupt the Zarn command network, effectively paralyzing their ability to coordinate their forces. However, deploying it required breaching the heart of the Zarn fortress. John Carter, now a legendary figure among the Resistance, took command of the operation. His strategy involved a multi-tiered assault, combining ground forces, airstrikes, and covert infiltration teams. The objective was clear: create a diversion to draw out the main Zarn forces, while a small elite team infiltrated the fortress to deploy the destabilizer. The day of the battle dawned with an eerie silence, the calm before the storm. Resistance forces mobilized across the city's perimeter, preparing for the most significant engagement of their lives. Carter, standing before his troops, delivered a rousing speech, his voice echoing with conviction and determination. "We stand here today not just as soldiers, but as the last line of defense for our home, our families, and our future. The Zarn believe they have us cornered, but they have underestimated our will to fight. Today, we reclaim what is ours. Today, we show them the true strength of humanity." As his words resonated through the ranks, the soldiers responded with a unified roar, ready to face whatever came next. The assault began with a massive artillery barrage, targeting key defenses and creating chaos within the Zarn ranks. As planned, the Zarn forces surged out to meet the attackers, falling into the trap laid by Carter. Amidst the fierce fighting, the infiltration team, led by Carter and Morales, made their move. Using advanced cloaking technology, they navigated to the battlefield, slipping past the Zarn defenses and entering the fortress. Inside, they encountered heavy resistance, but their superior training and knowledge of Zarn technology gave them an edge. The corridors of the fortress were a labyrinth of metallic structures and pulsating energy conduits. The team fought their way through, each skirmish a testament to their resolve. Finally, they reached the central command chamber, where the quantum destabilizer needed to be deployed. Elena and her engineers quickly set up the device, calibrating it to the Zarn command frequencies. As they worked, the sound of approaching Zarn soldiers grew louder. Carter and the other soldiers formed a defensive perimeter, holding off the attackers long enough for the device to be activated. With a final input of commands, Elena initiated the destabilizer. A low hum filled the chamber, escalating into a crescendo as the device emitted a pulse of energy. The effects were immediate and catastrophic for the Zarn. Across the city, Zarn machinery malfunctioned, weapon systems failed, and their communications went silent. The invaders, now leaderless and disorganized, faltered under the coordinated assault of the Resistance forces outside. The tide of battle turned rapidly. Resistance fighters, emboldened by the sudden collapse of Zarn command, pressed their advantage. The once impregnable Zarn fortress crumbled under the relentless human assault. The streets of Washington, D.C. became a testament to the resilience and tenacity of the human spirit. The final hours of the battle were a blur of victory and loss. Many brave souls fell in the last push, their sacrifices etched into the memory of those who survived. As the last pockets of Zarn resistance were extinguished, a profound silence settled over the city. The war, which had seemed unending, was finally over. The Zarn, once a formidable force that had brought humanity to its knees, were now defeated. The skies, once darkened by their ships, were clear once more. Earth, though scarred and battered, was free. In the aftermath, humanity faced a daunting task of rebuilding. The world lay in ruins, but the spirit of its people remained unbroken. Cities that had been reduced to rubble began to rise again, this time stronger and more resilient. The lessons learned from the invasion fostered a renewed commitment to unity and cooperation. Nations that had once been divided now worked together to heal the planet and ensure that such a catastrophe would never happen again. Monuments were erected to honor the fallen, their names etched into the annals of history as heroes who had given everything for the survival of their species. Among them were countless soldiers, scientists, and civilians whose bravery and sacrifice had turned the tide of the war. John Carter and Dr. Elena Morales, now symbols of hope and resilience, stood at the forefront of this new era. Their leadership had been instrumental in humanity's survival, and their legacy would inspire generations to come. Elena, ever the visionary, turned her attention to the future. The Zarn technology that had been reverse-engineered during the war now became the foundation for a new wave of innovation. Clean energy, advanced medical treatments, and sustainable infrastructure began to transform the planet. The scars of war were slowly healed, not just physically but emotionally, as humanity embraced a future built on peace and progress. John Carter, though weary from years of battle, found solace in the knowledge that his efforts had not been in vain. He retired from active duty but remained a guiding force for the ERF, now repurposed as a global defense and peacekeeping organization. His wisdom and experience ensured that humanity would never again be caught unprepared. As the years passed, the memory of the Zarn invasion became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the fragility of peace and the importance of vigilance. But it was also a story of triumph, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. The survivors of the war, those who had fought and those who had endured, carried with them a profound sense of purpose. They had faced the brink of extinction and emerged stronger, united by a shared resolve to protect their home and each other. The final chapter of this epic saga closed with Earth entering a new golden age. The horrors of the past were not forgotten, but they no longer defined the future. Humanity, having stared into the abyss and refused to blink, now looked to the stars with a sense of hope and curiosity. The Zarn, once a symbol of fear and destruction, had become a footnote in the story of the species that had proven its resilience time and time again. And as the sun set over a rebuilt Washington, D.C., casting a golden glow over the monuments and memorials, it was clear that humanity's greatest victory was not just the defeat of the Zarn, but the triumph of its own spirit. The war had ended, but the journey was far from over. Together, united and unyielding, humanity stepped boldly into the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.